The empty chair at the United Nations, the Russian veto, the Gromyko walkout. In a world of ideas, we fight a war of ideas. Never before has the world's most powerful monopoly been offered by its owner, one nation, to all nations, to all men.
We are here to make a choice between the quick and the dead. That is our business. The search of science for an absolute weapon has reached fruition in this country.
Bernard Baruch proposes an international authority to control, inspect, and license all atomic activities. No bombs in the arsenal, no veto in the UN, punishment for offenders. The Russians reject the American idea. And the American answer to communist intransigence at the council table, communist obstruction abroad, communist agitation throughout the world, is a helping hand for the oppressed. To the ever-changing conditions of the world, we apply the never-changing conditions of freedom. Clothing for the naked. Supplies for those in need. Food for the hungry. Those who are forced to ask for more than butter. To them we give guns. To them we give our lives. As we must help others secure their freedom, so we must secure our own. Security, secrecy, become the key words of the mid-20th century. Whatever happens, we have the secret of the bomb, and we mean to keep it secret. So check everybody. Investigate, screen, guard, question, check again, and recheck. Security all by itself becomes a major industry, consuming unlimited manpower, consuming millions of dollars. 1 out of every 4 employees of the Atomic Energy Commission, $1 out of every 20 it spends, goes to the maintenance of security. What are we trying to hide? Not even this can be suggested according to the security regulations. On all matters of security at all atomic energy installations, the Atomic Energy Commission retains absolute and final authority. Restricted, confidential, secret, ultra-secret, top secret, cosmic secret. Under lock and key go the documents. Too many, say some. Never too many, say others. But he who admits the possession of a secret has already half revealed it. What Moscow spies have contributed to Russia's scientific progress is accurately known only to Russia herself. At best, they have advanced the Russian timetable. Inside the Soviet Union, a vast, well-trained, dedicated scientific community strives to keep pace with the West. The physicist and the mathematician are privileged citizens whose work is left free of ideological control. These are precisely the fields most vital to atomic research. Each year, the universities graduate 100,000 young technicians and scientists, a figure comparable to that of the United States. Europe's first cyclotron was built in 1937 at Moscow's Radium Institute. In 1939, when Hahn and Strassmann were making their epic experiment in Berlin, two Russian scientists, Flerov and Petrazhak, also discovered the spontaneous fission of uranium. With or without spies, it was certain that sooner or later, the Russians would learn how to make an atom bomb. For the greatest security risk is nature herself. And as Einstein has said, what nature tells one group of men, she will tell in time to any other. September 1949. The atomic age takes another fateful turn. Intelligence of all kinds, true and false, unreal and real, reaches the United States. Dr. Vannevar Bush and his committee of experts weigh the reports and reach a conclusion.
Well, gentlemen, what do you think?
There's no doubt about it. They've got it.
The evidence is unmistakable. All the reports tally.
Anyone disagree? Very well, then. We have to report to the President that having reviewed all the evidence, we have come to the conclusion that an atomic explosion has taken place.
Russia has the bomb. America has lost the monopoly. President Truman wrestles with this shattering problem. As his countrymen celebrate a holiday dedicated to peace on earth, goodwill toward men, the president ponders his course of action. January 1950. He issues a statement to the press. It is part of my responsibility as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces to see to it that our country is able to defend itself against any possible aggressor. Accordingly, I have directed the Atomic Energy Commission to continue its work on all forms of atomic weapons, including the so-called hydrogen or super bomb. America hears. She mobilizes her resources, her brains, her skill, her manpower to meet the new challenge. America acts. And in the Pacific, other towers. Ground zero again. As the world seethes with war, both hot and cold, the United States counters the Russian threat of world revolution, many times more serious now, by strengthening her alliances abroad and herself at home. A whole family of new atomic weapons is perfected, and the greatest of these is the H-bomb, the hydrogen bomb, the super bomb. At Hiroshima, it was an A-bomb explosion equal to 20,000 tons of TNT. At Eniwetok, it will be an H-bomb explosion equal to 5 million tons of TNT. And it takes A-bombs to trigger H-bombs. At many tests, at many places, ships and materiel, sailors and soldiers, pilots and divers, admirals and generals, scientists and technicians, doctors and chemists, astronomers and oceanographers, blast experts and radiation teams. And, of course, the bombs. 3, 2, 1... The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, powerful, industrialized, determined to match the West. Events have proved where American engineers and scientists lead, the Russians follow. Since 1917, Russian industry has grown from almost nothing to formidable proportions. Generations of slave labor have been sacrificed to this end. The means are of no consequence. The end is all important. And on this indispensable foundation to national power, the Russians lose no time in trying to checkmate the West with a thermonuclear explosion of their own. August 1953, Stalin's successor, Georgy Malenkov, announces to the Supreme Soviet, the government deems it necessary to report that the United States has no monopoly in the production of the hydrogen bomb. But bombs are useless without the means to deliver them. Russia builds those, too. How many bombs do the Russians have? The exact number is not known. Does not matter. They have enough, if delivered on target, to inflict incredible damage on the United States, on the West. And in the United States, defense against aggression. On the airfields of North America, the intercontinental bombers are constantly fueled, constantly tuned, constantly ready, 24 hours a day in, day out. The planes and their crews are always on the alert, their targets picked, their courses long since set. Somebody might blow the whistle tomorrow morning. Hand-picked crews have their gear packed for takeoff at any hour, any time, should zero come. Daily the training flights, flights of 40 hours at a stretch, routine flights that equal the distance from Texas to Moscow and back. If the Russians go to war, the airmen tell one another, they won't have any country to come back to. What the Russian airmen tell one another is not hard to guess. Nor is this the whole story. Both the communists and the free world are perfecting intercontinental ballistic missiles carrying atomic warheads. Traveling without human control, these missiles rip through the stratosphere and land on their targets without warning. Against them, there is no known defense. A time of confusion and contradiction, the ludicrous and the sad. Man can die, yes, but he can live. Man can be ignorant, yes, but he can be wise. Man can be fearful, yes, but he can have hope. And it is only what man fears he tries to forget. All over the world it is the same. Escape. Escape from tyranny, escape from freedom, escape from oneself. There are those who hear only the lonely cry of the lonely sax. There are those who see only absolute nothingness in atomic power. And there are many who prefer to call the atomic age the age of anxiety. Some say there is no place to hide, but little children cannot know what this means. The truth is unpleasant. The truth is ugly. The truth is horrible. But the world remembers the truth, remembers Hiroshima. Poor naked wretches, wheresoe'er you are, that bide the pelting of this pitiless storm, how shall your houseless heads and unfed sides, your looped and windowed raggedness, defend you from seasons such as these? I hold the unconquerable belief that science and peace will triumph over ignorance and war, that nations will come together not to destroy but to construct, and that the future belongs to those who accomplish most for humanity. Louis Pasteur's words do not fall on deaf ears. There are those throughout the land who already are putting the atom to work for the greater good of humanity. Radioactive cobalt machines operating in our hospitals are symbolic of the atom revolving not in the vortex of annihilation, but in the cycle of life. It turns for all mankind. Atomic energy can be the supreme gift of science to man. Potentially, there is sufficient power for all, making possible enough of everything to free man as he has never been free before. And not alone is the United States in the pursuit of this dream. Britain, France, and Canada, Norway and the Netherlands, Belgium, Sweden, and Denmark, Brazil and Australia, Italy, Switzerland, and India all have atomic energy programs whose only purpose is human betterment. This is not so wild a dream. The reality is here, now, in Idaho. The first usable electric power in history is being generated by atomic energy. Energy produced by precisely the same fissionable material hidden in the bombs. It guards the freedom of the West today. It embraces hope for the world tomorrow. The signal light. The reactor is in operation. The enriched uranium core, the natural uranium blanket, the sodium-potassium coolant, the heat exchanger, the steam loop, and the turbo generator. It is all here. Now it is working for peace. The world is waiting. 3, 2, 1. Let there be light. And there is light. A new light has come into our world. A light released from the dark, unknown depths of nature to penetrate the dark, unknown depths of man. A light to illumine the nobility of man at one with the universe. The new age may yet make good the ancient prophecy of Isaiah. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. This is the future that beckons, if man has the wisdom and reason to seek his high destiny. A future where none of the millions alive on earth today, or any of the millions yet to come, need say, as a poet has said, I, a stranger and afraid, in a world I never made. Why should there not be a patient confidence in the ultimate justice of the people, asked Abraham Lincoln. Is there any better or equal hope in the world? The answer is no. Man is either dedicated to God and man, or he is dedicated to the devil and to nothingness. And as Lincoln knew, it is only through the people we shall nobly save or meanly lose the last best hope of earth. It is the people, through their governments, who must ultimately say whether the atom has come to bless mankind or to curse mankind. It is the people, all the people, in all lands and in all places, who must come to know what atomic energy can and will do for good and for evil. They, alone and together, each and all, have the opportunity now, right now, to choose happiness, not horror, construction, not destruction, peace, not oblivion. The real problem does not rest in scientific mechanisms, but rather it rests in the minds and hearts of men.
To the making of these fateful decisions, the United States pledges before you, and therefore before the world, its determination to help solve the fearful atomic dilemma, to devote its entire heart and mind to find the way by which the miraculous inventiveness of man shall not be dedicated to his death, but consecrated to his life.
mind counts off, zero is here. Everything is here. But whether it be nothing or everything depends on what course man steers across the great unexplored ocean of truth as it rolls through empty space in endless time. Our Earth is but a small star in the great universe. Yet of it, we can make, if we choose, a planet unvexed by war, untroubled by hunger or fear, undivided by senseless distinctions of race, color, or theory. Grant us that courage and foreseeing to begin this task today, that our children and our children's children may be proud of the name of man.